Welcome to the Getting High on Leadership series featuring Paul Karasik. Paul is one of America's top management consultants helping leaders succeed. He is the author of 9 books, including Sweet Persuasion and Brilliant Thoughts and Provocative Questions. His insights appear regularly in major publications, and he is one of the most sought-after executive coaches. Paul founded the American Seminar Leaders Association and the Psychedelic Institute of Los Angeles. He is a popular speaker at national conferences and has been on stages across all 50 states and internationally. Paul's work addresses the question, how can we transform conflict in business into collaboration? With decades of experience in management, leadership, and psychedelics, he brings a unique perspective on personal and societal growth. In this series, we'll be discussing his latest book, Getting High on Leadership, The Leader's Guide to Higher Consciousness. We'll be exploring the concepts, techniques, and mindset required to revolutionize leadership. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Getting High on Leadership series. My name is Rob Sanchez. I'm your host, and we are joined by the author of the book, Paul Karasik. Today, we will be discussing the section called The Leader is on the Team, which is maybe a concept we've covered in some of the previous sections, but this is a deep conversation that can go on and on. So we're going to dive into this one as well. And Paul, where can we begin trying to recognize that the leader is on the team or address that leaders may forget this at times?
Yeah, this is one of the most delicate chapters in the book. And it's delicate because, and I say this out of experience working with leaders for so many years, is what is the limit of friendliness with the team? How much should a leader be hanging out with the guys, so to speak? I don't mean that in a sex, but just with the guys, and we go out drinking, and then they want to change the comp structure, and it's like, whoa, wow, and how did we get there from here? You're one of the guys. We're drinking beers. We go out together.
Now you're making this decision is going to affect my life.
So it's like, where's that line? And this is, like I said, it's a very delicate chapter, in that sense that you want to be friends with the people that you're leading and working with, and on this mission with. And yet if you're too close, they'll expect special behavior. They'll expect, situations, right? So the first thing we want to do in this chapter is shine some light on the issue. Why is this chapter here? What is the core challenge that this chapter is addressing? And that is, how does the leader relate to the team? And what the supposition here is that the leader is a member of the team with the role called leader. That's what we're gonna go with, that idea, and then we can navigate through this. If you're on the team, how do you act, and so on and so forth. But first, let's understand that the leader is not up here and the team down here. That the leader is a part of the team with the role called leader that can do certain things that other members of the team can't do, like summon more resources, like navigate through certain situations that they're dealing with, right?
But there's so the leader isn't out there pulling the bus with the team back on the bus. The leader is very much seated back with the team on the same bus, in the same environment, trying to accomplish the same goal. And I think sometimes leaders can almost envision themselves as out in front of the bus with a rope, I'm leading this, and that's that ego speaking and kind of some of those obstacles that we've discussed.
Exactly, you're hitting it right on the nose, and that. So it's like the consciousness, which again, the theme of this book is what is the consciousness that guides us? What is the higher consciousness that guides us? And that is, the leader is not here pulling the bus. The leader is on the bus, which might involve pulling the bus at some point. And, it doesn't matter, but they're on the bus.
Right. You may
That's
be
the
doing the
main.
work when everyone's asleep under the bus, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
you're
still
still
on the
riding
bus. You're still,
it.
and a lot of times the leader is doing that. They're working far and beyond what the situation is for the people on the bus. But yeah, that's exactly right. So this is the first concept. To understand the guidelines, first we have to say whether they're a member of the team. Now the question is, how do they still be one of the team and yet have this opportunity to raise pay, fire somebody, hire
That's the
somebody?
delicate part of this conversation, isn't it? Yeah. It's a very fine line to walk, to be friends and acquaintances and then turn down a raise
Yeah.
or remove an employee from the roster.
And I see, in the business world, I've seen this happen so many times. Top salespeople inevitably get offered and many times take management positions. Now they're managing a team of salespeople that they used to be on the team. Now they're in a whole different role. And when they were on that team, they were friends with them. They did hang out. And now they're like, oh, he's the boss or she's the boss. And you see, it's complicated.
Turn some relationships upside down after that, depending on how things were before.
Gets crazy. Yeah, gets crazy. We were friends when we were both on the team, and now you're the leader of the team, and you're treating me differently, or you expect me to treat you differently, and there's conflict. And I've seen that many, many times. It's rare it doesn't happen when you have to lead a team you used to be on. So
yeah, you can have some struggles there.
So
I think that's that human element again that can just disrupt teams. It can get in the way, even if that's the right decision. Maybe this leader or this salesperson has deserved the role, and they're the right fit for this leadership role. Even though that business decision was made wisely, the people problem that it can create or the effects that it can cause may not always be worth it, or you at least need to be aware that they're coming around the corner after that
they're
change.
coming. Yeah, I would say they're coming, and it's rare that they don't come in that particular scenario. But in general, so now you say, okay, I'm part of the team. What is my role as part of the team? That's all. I'm just part of the team. My role is to get other good members to be on part of the team. So recruit. My part of my job is as a team member, is to make sure that if people are unhappy, to give them other opportunities or whatever the case may be, move them on to something. That's part of the team. Creating, it's in business, is comp plans. That's part of the team. These are roles as a team member. But I want to put out in this video what I believe to be the main, the most powerful thing a leader can do as a team member. And that is to be an advocate and to be an ambassador. The most successful leaders are the ones who can create an atmosphere where the leader is the ambassador for the team, going out and pitching, going out and representing, going out and being the voice of the team, not an other, but as a team member, being that voice. You following what I'm saying?
Right. Really speaking for the team in some arenas where they cannot, and doing some things that maybe the team can't accomplish with that role, but always embodying that team in making those decisions and in bringing that awareness of the team, the team itself in everything, right? And not embarking on your own as a leader, or digging too much into your ego to take credit maybe where it's not deserved.
How would you feel about me if I was always going back to whatever the upper who I report to, and pitching you and supporting you and speaking about how good a job you're doing.
Yeah,
You would,
I'd probably jump on a few meetings with you when it was inconvenient,
yeah,
just to
you'd probably go the
keep the ball
extra.
rolling.
You'd
Yeah.
say, "Oh, this I like this guy. He's pitching me to whoever." And so, and a good leader is like a liaison between higher consciousness, higher power, higher effectiveness, uh, resources, and the team. We're the
Yeah.
liaison. We're the ambassador. We're the advocate. We're the representative. When a team feels that, like you said it so well, then they'll work all night. They'll work till they get the job done. Um, you're supporting me in that way. Then I want to support you. Then
Yeah.
I'll do
And I
anything I
think
can.
I can count the leaders that have been that way on a single hand. I have encountered, I think, two that were very good in doing that. And I think one or two of the clients that I've worked with too have been like just great leaders within their own projects and in bringing in a consultant and things like that. The more common case is that it's a little bumpy. It's maybe sometimes really good and smooth. Other times, depending on what's going on in the business or what happened yesterday, it can be a little different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things again that I think is like you want to do it. You can't really argue why you wouldn't do it. But then as like life takes over or as business cases present themselves or the stress of work builds up, you end up taking the low road. Trying to take the quick route maybe, which is ignoring that.
The right thing to do. Yeah. Yeah. It's challenging. Um, but if a team doesn't feel that you're backing them 100%, then they never they never produce for you at that level.
Yeah,
Like,
and it
but
gets
when they
back to
see
that
you as
servant leadership.
yeah, servant leadership, exactly. That's
Carry the water,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
introduce the team. You know.
How come? How? Why? The question is why, if this stuff is so obvious, and we talked a little bit about it before. Why don't they? Why don't they do that? Why don't they become advocates and ambassadors for the team? Why don't they? You know, I would ask you that. Why do you think?
Yeah, definitely. That's the $1 million question. I think it boils down to just their own mindset, right? It's not the team itself or the work. There are, like you said, there are software companies that are great cultures or great environments to work in, and then some of their competitors, or maybe even outside of that niche, there's some companies that could be bigger than them that are terrible places to work at. So I think it can be done. It's more just what's that leader's history with workplace, leadership, any
Mm-hmm.
trauma, kind of how they
Mm-hmm.
feel about themselves, those kinds of things. Because I think when you put that leader hat on, if you have some kind of baggage or something that's like unresolved, it can definitely pull your ability to lead in directions you might not always want. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I think it's more dealing with that and realizing, you have a leader like that. Like when I was in a companies with leaders that were a little rough around the edges,
Mm-hmm.
it was even hard for me to see them as people and as, a little bit of consciousness like myself and to give them any leeway for that because they were kind of using that position of authority or letting their ego drive their leadership role. So I think it can be a little bit on the leader, but also on the company or on the followers themselves. If you realize your leader is, I don't know, maybe going down an egotistic path, there must be some way to kind of lead by example from your position within the team to try and change that. But I think we've all seen companies where you only have so much to say, about how something happens. Just the
Yeah.
way they've built up over time. Maybe it has to do with the evolution of kind of the business model and
Mm-hmm.
the team itself that makes that so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
That was a long answer. Short answer
No.
is I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
No, that's why I began this chapter talk here with the idea that it's so delicate. You see what I'm saying now? It really is
Yeah, it
delicate.
is. Yeah, because you don't
It's
want to blame one side. Like you don't want to just say it's someone's fault per se, but it
hmm
actually is probably somebody's fault. But you
hmm
need to try to suss that out without stepping on all the toes and tipping the boat over.
Well, it's how do you move forward your own mission, your own goals. If you can create a productive team as a leader in any area, not just business, you're gonna have a career. If you have that one skill of how to organize people towards a specific outcome and get the job done, you know, you'll have a career in anything you ever want to do because it's such a unique skill set. And the one thing that's going to kill your ability to do that is that people don't like you. I mean, let's just put it out on the table. If people don't like you, they don't want to work for you. They'll do the minimal amount to get whatever has to be accomplished. Never go the extra mile. Never get creative, never contribute, never think things through, never think for themselves, never become independent without you, always need you to micromanage and tell you what to do, tell them what to do. And so it's obvious, it's obvious we have to be liked by the team.
Right, which requires certain actions and behavior changes to,
If you're going to
with
like me,
consciousness in mind.
yeah, don't comp my comp if you like me. If you like me, give me good stuff to do on this team that, in this group that I like to do and not the crap work. If you like me, recognize me sometimes and say, hey, I did a good job. If you like me, so how do you get people to like you? One, what I'm saying is don't be a leader from up here, be a leader who's on the team. That's number one. Get the visual, get the consciousness set up, right? The consciousness of I'm on the team. I'm not you are the team and I tell you what to do. Now you're not that guy anymore. You're just a member of the team with certain abilities, certain capacities, certain resources that other people don't have. And they have resources and things that you don't have. So now it's sort of like an equal playing field. And I can feel that. And man, I've seen stuff accomplished by teams, by groups when the leader is on the team. It's amazing. It's amazing. And the vibe, I don't know if you've ever had that experience,
There's a
Rob.
kind of an energy or
It's so cool.
yeah, there's definitely a passion, across the team that's getting those
It's
projects
amazing.
done or pulling you through hard times or, meeting tight deadlines with some time to spare even.
It's amazing. It's amazing what you can get done when they feel that, when the energy's there. So I want to encourage the consciousness of when you're leading to be a member of the team. And the second thing to kind of put a bow on this chapter is think of yourself, your primary role as a leader as an ambassador, as an advocate, as a messenger, as a bringer of resources, and as your primary role. And like you said, to serve. The group,
Right.
the best leaders
Right.
know how to serve.
Sit down with your team and be on that team.
Yeah, and be on that team, and be on that team as a servant. To lead is to serve.
Yeah. Excellent, Paul. And thank you all for watching and listening. As always, you can find the show notes below. You can read along with us and go on this journey. You could start back at the beginning or join us here for the next episode. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Getting High on Leadership series. If you have any questions, you can comment below or send them in via email to paul@paulkarasik.com. Follow him on Instagram at PK_the conversation. Find out more at wholesalerinstitute.com and psychedelic-awakening.com. The Getting High on Leadership series is produced by Rob Sanchez and Apartment 113, which can be found at apartment113.com and followed on Instagram at APT_113.